I'm ready. All right, so I'm a pilot, and whenever somebody says that they're a pilot, most people get one of these 6 pictures kind of in their mind. So I'm going to be talking about the airplanes I fly, what I do, and why I love flying. All right, received most of my training up at K-State Salina, and where I received multiple pilot certificates in several different ratings. I got the opportunity to fly several different aircraft. Pictured there is a Cessna 172, but Beechcraft Bonanza, Baron, and a Citation CJ, which is a Citation Jet. And there's a picture of me of when I was participating in the K-State transportation program, and I got the opportunity to fly several different people around the country in that airplane, and also this Citation Jet, including Bill Snyder on a couple of recruiting trips, some alumni and donors to some games, but that program is no longer because of budget cuts. This is a Cherokee 140. It's a 1966 model. It's a 4-seat trainer. I did the majority of my primary flight training in that before I got to K-State. And I also did my first solo in one of these, and that's one of those flights that you never forget, is the first time you fly an airplane by yourself, and all you got is you to get out in these situations when you're up there. This is the instrument panel of that airplane. As you can see, it's not a whole lot of it's a haphazard layout, and there's not a lot of standardization, and this is kind of the 60s mentality. They just kind of threw stuff in the dashboard and said, all right, here we go, here's an airplane, learn to fly. Good for you. Did undergrad and at K-State, this is a Cessna 172. This is one of those that I've flew quite a bit of. It's a 4-seat trainer, and most pilots flying a day at least had some sort of training experience in a 172. And they are great trainers because they are very forgiving to the pilots and students as well. This is the panel of the inside of the 172. It's a little bit more thoughtful and laid out. There's actually a 6-pack design. You have all your instruments: airspeed, altitude, attitude, and hitting information right there in the pilot's line of sight. The radio's over there on the right-hand side, and it's very, very easy to read the gauges and whatnot. It's a lot more thought put into that. Here we have a new generation of aircraft called the Cirrus Aircraft SR-22. They've been building them since 2001, and they've had over 5,100 of them delivered to customers. It's an all-composite airplane versus an all-metal like the 172 and the Cherokee that were shown previously. And then the coup de grace on this one. There we go. This is the Cirrus airframe parachute system, which is deployed by a rocket, and it's deployed if there's ever an engine failure or emergency situation. If the airplane cannot be flown safely to the ground on impact, the airframe is sacrificed to save the occupants inside like a race car. And it is the only airplane made from the factory that has that parachute. This is the panel on the inside of that airplane. It's technically advanced aircraft. It has the digital screens instead of the round circles. You have the left side of the primary flight display, which had the airspeed and et cetera. Over the right-hand side, you have the moving map like some of you might have in your cars now, just a lot bigger. It also has a side stick and air conditioning. This is me as an instructor with one of my students. He's finishing up his private pilot here, and he went from absolutely no flying experience to a certificated pilot in about 7 months. And pictured there is in front of Wells Aircraft, where I used to work up until the beginning of July. And this is another one of my students, and I'm cutting out his shirt tail, and that is a tradition that's been a long-standing tradition in flying. It's when comes back from when the instructor used to sit behind the student in a tandem seat and would used to tug on the student's shirt to get his attention so he could yell in his ear, tell him to quit doing that. This is a picture of a Citation CJ3. My new job is going to be flying this in a larger aircraft. Right now I've been sitting right seat, gaining experience and learning how to operate much more faster and complex aircraft, and getting my toe wet in the corporate aviation world. This is the inside of the cockpit of the CJ3 here. It's very similar to the Cirrus we just showed, but it's a generation older, so it's a little bit more haphazard and a lot more screens. But it is a single pilot. I sit right seat just to gain experience. It'll go 460 miles an hour at 45,000 feet and travel 2,300 miles on a full tank of gas. This is the next airplane I should hopefully be flying in the next couple of months. I'll be down it's a Citation XLS. I'll be going into flight safety in Wichita to learn how to operate that aircraft. This guy holds 8 people plus 2 pilots, and it has a stand-up cabin where I actually have actual headroom when I'm standing walking down the aisle. 520 miles an hour, 45,000 feet range, and 2,400 miles. This is the flight deck of that airplane. It's a little dark, but it's kind of similar to the first Citation, but it has dual everything because it's a 2-pilot airplane, and you can fly it from either side of the airplane, but it does require 2 pilots since it is just such a complex aircraft. This is a map of all the places that I have flown currently. It's pretty heavy down into state of Kansas and Texas. I've gone all the way up to Calgary, Canada, Las Vegas, Nevada, Indianapolis, Minnesota, all over there, Texas. And I love flying because I love to travel, and as you get to see a lot more than driving. I've seen some many interesting things in the air. No UFOs yet, but this is what I thought it was, but this is called a cloud glory, or a shadow halo. It's caused by when the airplane is in direct line between the sun and its shadow, and you have a cloud, and it causes a circular rainbow to show up around your shadow, which is kind of neat. This is a picture I took on the trip back home from Las Vegas. It's of the Grand Canyon, and I got to see the entirety of the Grand Canyon from the air. That was an amazing sight. I really awesome that I got to see it, and flying an airplane got me, the only way you could see something like that from the air, and because I love flying, because it gives you views not only ground but of the air like this. It's not just your standard office view, and you look out, you see some trees and street and people walking on the ground. The weather changes every day, so it's not the same thing every day, which can be a huge challenge, but it's also is very rewarding. And I love flying since it's not the same thing every time, and you're not sit behind a boring desk job. And thank you for letting me share your experience.